We begin with a recap of Georgia athletics over the weekend. The UGA softball team hopes to complete their sweep over the Kentucky Wildcats tonight at 7 p.m. in Athens. The UGA baseball team traveled to the Music City over the weekend to face Vanderbilt in a 3-game series. Unfortunately, the Dogs were defeated in all 3 games, with the most notable loss being 16-8 in Saturday's game. The team now has a record of 15-13 on the season, with a record of 1-8 in the SEC Conference. Their next game will be against Kennesaw State in Kennesaw tomorrow at 6 p.m.
Clay, that was a really powerful story. Can you tell me what your reason was in choosing this solutions journalism story?
Yeah, so suicide kind of hit home for me back a few years ago. I actually had a fraternity brother take his own life, Sam Asbury. And yeah, that was a hard time for everyone, his family, his fraternity. He was a lot closer to my older brother, but it was still just wild to think that it could touch home like that and somebody struggling that you didn't really know was struggling decided to take their lives. And so I really wanted to check out Nucci's and see, you know, how they deal with the problem of suicide. You know, it's not easy. It's a problem. Mental health is a problem, and should be talked about and addressed more. But that was my main reason, because it really hit home. And yeah, you know, Nucci's is a great place to ask for help, and they are doing a good job trying to prevent the suicide epidemic.
Well, I really appreciate it.
Welcome back. I'm Clay Britton with your 5-day forecast. Today began off rather cold and cloudy with a high of 64 and a low of 39, but it started clearing up this afternoon, but was still on the low end of temperatures, so a jacket wasn't a bad idea. Tomorrow will be a bit warmer with a high of 71 and a low of 42, and that warm weather will continue into Wednesday, where we'll have a high of 77 and a low of 46. That'll probably be the last clear day of weather that we see this week as we head into Thursday. Thursday, there'll be a high of 78 with a low of 56. And it should be rather clear in the morning, but the chance of rain will increase to the afternoon and into Thursday night. Friday, we'll have a high of 71 and a low of 58. And with an 84% chance of rain, it is not a bad idea to stay inside. Coming up in 8 minutes, we hear from a turkey hunter here at UGA about how the weather affects gobblers during the hunting. The Athens-Clarke County Animal Services are asking the mayor and commission to approve a SPLOST project to improve their animal shelter. A SPLOST, or Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, allows for the Athens government to use sales tax dollars to fund improvement projects around the county. The proposed budget for the animal shelter is around $500,000. Shelter supervisor and temporary interim director Nicolette Watkins has been with the Animal Services for 5 years and has seen the old kennels continue to deteriorate.
That funding is specifically for our improving our kennels for the dogs. So this facility is quite old. They weren't really built up to standards then.
The project is a continuation of a 2016 SPLOST project that only renovated 6 of their 36 kennels. The new project will improve the remaining 30 kennels, adding drainage systems for cleaning and concrete barriers in between dogs to reduce their stress.
So that way the dogs aren't seeing each other, and then it helps with the disease spread. So then it will also help with them relaxing, because they're not constantly seeing dogs.
But the project is not only beneficial to the animals. Juan De Leon, the interim road supervisor for Animal Services, says the new kennels will help the staff clean more efficiently.
It'll make cleaning so much easier, because as it is now, you have to do like 2 or 3 extra steps just to get all the chemicals out.
The mayor and commission are set to vote on this project on March 7th. With Grady News Source, I'm Clay Britton. The Athens Police Department responded to 1,075 hit-and-run calls last year.
A vehicle is involved in a crash and they don't exchange or provide any of their information and they leave the scene.
Barnett says that if you do leave the scene of an accident but leave your contact information, it is not considered a hit-and-run. So far this year, there has been 141 hit-and-runs involved in vehicle accidents. According to Lieutenant Barnett, most of these accidents occur in parked cars, whether that's in a parking garage, a parking lot, or a parked car on the side of the street, such as this one. Wyatt Milner was unfortunate enough to be one of those included in this statistic. He says his car was parked on Barber Street when another car struck his and fled the scene.
I heard a crashing noise. It was close, and it woke me up at 4 a.m. and I went out there, and the car was crashed straight into the front of my car, and there was no one in it.
He says the responding officers that arrived on the scene were able to locate the suspect roughly a mile away from where the accident occurred. Milner's truck was totaled as a result of the accident. Not everyone involved in a hit and run is fortunate enough to be able to locate the suspect as fast as Milner in this case. However, if you are involved in a hit and run accident, there are some actions you can take to help the police in their investigation.
You can get, a make and model of a car, or at least a color and a type of car. If you're able to get a tag number, or at least a partial tag number, that is also very helpful when we're investigating these things.
With Grady News Source, I'm Clay Britton. Saturday was the first ever Rock Out With Your Dog Out event at Clark's Collection in downtown Athens. Featured performances included Wim Tapley, Country Clover, Sunday Driver, 1050 Band, and Pete Street Band. The event was organized by students of the Terry College of Business's Lessons in Leadership program. They have teamed up with Athens Area Humane Society to raise money for the nonprofit.
Because that money goes to supporting our mission, and our mission being promoting the welfare of homeless pets and celebrating the special bond between people and pets.
Specifically, the money will be used for basic care of the animals at the shelter, like food and water, and transportation to and from shelters and foster homes. The money raised will also go towards improvements at the Humane Society, like the Betty White Bark Park. The park has a dog obstacle course to help reduce stress, gain confidence and trust to help them get adopted quicker. Around $2,500 were raised on Saturday. For musician Wim Tapley, the event was more than just another concert he played at. Raising money and rescuing animals is something he is used to back in his home in Virginia.
I have a dog at home in Virginia. She's rescued. My mom rescued her. My mom actually rescues horses and stuff. So we have a big animal-loving family.
Although not many dogs showed up on Saturday, the ones that did had a good time listening to music with their masters. The second Rock Out With Your Dog Out concert will be on Sunday, April 2nd at Paloma Park from 2 to 4:30 p.m. With Grady News Source, I'm Clay Britton. I'm here at Memorial Park, where I'm currently standing by the lake, but that wouldn't be the case if we'd recently had a bunch of rainfall. Memorial Park is the lowest point in the Five Points area, which means all the water from the watershed in Five Points ends up here. The big part of the improvements project is to improve the storm infrastructure, like the forebay behind me. The forebay is in place to allow sediment to settle after rainfall. In 2014, when the forebay was redone by the lake, but that wouldn't...
At Memorial Park with more details.
I'm here at Memorial Park, where I'm currently standing by the lake, but that wouldn't be the case if we'd recently had a bunch of rainfall. Memorial Park is the lowest point in the Five Points area, which means all the water from the watershed in Five Points ends up here. The big part of the improvements project is to improve the storm infrastructure, like the forebay behind me. The forebay is in place to allow sediment to settle after rainfall. In 2014, when the forebay was redone, the watershed was calculated to be 35% smaller than it actually is, which doesn't allow for the storm infrastructure to work as well and causes major flooding. We'd like to apologize for those technical difficulties. February is the season of love, but romance scams unfortunately have no season. Online schemes are run year-round and work to take money from victims. Grady News Source reporter Sydney Hood joins me here to share the red flags come along with the red hearts.